In this video, I'm going to show you exactly why you feel like you're starving on every single diet that you do, and why you feel like you're failing at 4 p.m. on day 36 of your cut, and why none of it is willpower, because the hunger that you feel on a cut is not a sign that you're failing. It's a biological signal that happens for a couple of different reasons, and I'm going to show you how to counteract it, how to work through it. And the biggest thing is that hunger is a sign that your cut is working. You've been told for 10, 20 years that your appetite is a character flaw, that it has to do with you personally, that if you were just more disciplined, that you wouldn't want the food. And that is a lie. This is the thing that's cost you every diet you've ever tried to do. So by the end of this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your body fights fat loss as hard, and the handful of things, the strategies that you can do to make it incredibly survivable and maybe something that you actually thrive through. My name is Noel Nolm. I'm a Toronto Argonaut. I play in the CFL professional football. I also was a D1 wide receiver and two-time team captain at Eastern Washington University, and now I'm the founder of Make It Happen Coaching, where I've helped over 100 high performers through this exact same thing, to get shredded, to get in the best shape of their life, just like this picture of Parker up above. Stay till the end. I'm going to tell you exactly where to grab a takeaway that you can follow for this exact thing, pushing through hunger, and that'll be at the end of the video. So let's get into this here, and I'm going to show you a bunch of different graphics. As you guys can see, it's going to be the exact same things that we run all our clients through, like Parker, who went from soft, not happy with what he was working with, doing all these cuts, but it wasn't working, to shredded, as you can see. And what it's going to be today is about the strategies, the systems that are going to get you shredded, because this is something that you definitely can work through, obviously. And this is not, you're not different, or there's nothing wrong with you because you're facing these things. You're not weak. It's just what your body does when you want to start to lose this fat. You're not designed to lose the fat. You're designed to stay alive. Your body is designed to protect you and to make sure that you're okay. So think about, for hundreds of thousands of years, your body has chronologically faced two different dangers: starving to death, or getting too heavy to potentially outrun a predator. And so the predator stopped being a threat a long time ago, right? Once we got the tools, but the starvation is something that still hasn't stopped. And so evolution, science, it has built you a powerful, incredibly successful, useful defense against losing fat. And it's not designed for you to lose fat. Like I said, this worked. Obviously, it's kept you alive, and it worked for those hundreds of years when you needed it, when it needed to store more fat and do all these things. But now we want to look shredded. We want to be beasts. We want to be the best we can be. Well, it doesn't really help you then. So what happens when you start to cut, right? When you start to cut, your body instantly starts to think, uh-oh, food is gone. We need to start staying safe. That's not thinking, food is gone, we need to get shredded. That's something that we have to work around. There's two hormones as we go through all of this today that I'm going to show you guys. Two hormones that cause this. It's these two right here. And the first one is leptin. Leptin is made by your fat. It is a thermostat. So it's going to report in your body whether there's enough energy in your system to be able to run these expensive things, like your thyroid, like your testosterone, your drive. And when I say expensive, I mean energy expensive. And then the other one is ghrelin. Ghrelin is from your stomach. It's the doorbell that rings before meals that's going to make you hungry, make sure you eat food to stay alive, to fuel yourself. Everyone says that they're opposites in balance, but they are not. This is not true. In a diet, they're both going to turn on you at once if you do it, especially if you do an aggressive cut like a lot of you have probably done. What's going to happen is leptin's going to drop and ghrelin will rise, as you guys can see here, in a deficit. They are on the same team, and the team that they form is not on your side. They're unfortunately not working for you a lot of the time, especially in a cut. In terms of getting shredded, like I'm explaining, the hunger isn't a malfunction. It is the exact thing your system was designed to do. So I hope this makes sense. Like, this is not something that's wrong, right? So one thing that researchers did is they put people on a 10-week diet, and then they followed these people for a full year. At the end of the diet, It's exactly what you'd expect. The leptin was down, the ghrelin was up, and that meant hunger was way up. And then they tested them a year later, and a full year after the diet ended. So I was testing them right at the end of the diet, a full year after. Their ghrelin was still elevated, and they were still significantly hungrier than they were before they ever started any diet. So their bodies were still fighting a diet that had ended 12 months ago. And like, just think about that. 12 months ago, it's a year. And this is why the crash comes so early is leptin doesn't just measure how much fat you have. It measures how much fuel just moved across your cells. So I hope that makes sense. The moment that you cut calories before you've lost any visible pounds, any visible fat, your leptin's going to drop, and that alarm is going to trigger within your body. That's why week 2 into a diet, you feel like you're wrecked, but the mirror hasn't changed because you didn't shrink yet. The fuel flow had stopped, but literally your body can't tell the difference between being on a diet or you not having enough fuel to live. I'm not going to say starvation and famine because it's not going to be something that's irreversible, but it can and will cause a lot of damage. This is a lot like Parker, as you guys can see here. Like he was in a spot where he quit at week 6, quit on Thursday when he started on Monday. And it's not that he was weak at all. He was just fighting thousands of years of biology, and he didn't know. He didn't know how to beat it, right? And so here's the things that you actually control. When we come over to hit here, I want to show you guys this really quickly. The things that we obviously actually control. You can't out willpower this, but you can obviously have a system that works against it. And there's a lot of levers that do the work. We do a couple different things. Here's just a list along with our number one thing, which is metabolic priming, which is using carbs, carbohydrate manipulation, where we use that to increase your metabolism. What we're literally going to do is we're going to raise your maintenance so that you can cut from a higher calorie count. But if we just go down the line, you've heard this all before. Protein, that's going to be huge. Bump it up, and you're going to be eating a few hundred less calories a day because you're going to be more full, and it's going to keep your muscle. Like, there's just so many things. And one thing that's really important, what does protein do? It lowers ghrelin. And it's going to raise those fullness signals. You're going to feel way more full, and it's going to burn a little bit more energy to digest. Thermic effect of food. That's really big. So 1 gram per pound of body weight as a base. That's what we go for with all our clients. The next thing, obviously, is sleep, right? This is huge. If you were on the same diet, the same deficit as someone else, but one group had 8 hours of sleep, 8.5, and the other had 5.5, the well-slept group is literally going to lose mostly fat, where the other is going to lose almost half the weight that they're losing in muscle. And muscle actually helps us stay lean too. So the number on the scale is the exact same in the two groups, but the body looks completely different. This is super important to understand because it's like we're talking about you could be way less and weight loss, but like, what do we really want? We want fat loss. So how do we do that? That's sleep. Super, super important. Sleep is incredibly important. I could go on and on. I've already said that in so many other things. Then we can obviously go, slowing the rate of the deficit, and how we do this is metabolic priming beforehand, volume and fiber, same meal times, maintenance breaks, which is a thing for another video, lifting heavy. Those are really the controllable levers that we focus on. It's super, super important when we're looking to fight against this ghrelin and leptin. Like, if I were just give you an idea of like when we're looking at the protein, it's going to lower ghrelin. So this is just another reason why I boil it down to the simple controllables. But if you want to understand the science behind it, it's pretty fascinating. Now, another thing I wanted to cover with you guys here as well is that there's a lot of things that the people in this space lie to you about. There's no, leptin reset, no ghrelin reset that you can pay for. What we need to do is literally eat food, because a lot of people will talk about like cheat meals to spike the leptin, a refeed, some people call it, and they spike it for a day. And then the biggest lie of all is that that's going to make all the difference for your hormones. And then people go on and they say that hormones make fat loss impossible, but they don't. They're just going to make it harder. So, I mean, if you're an absolute grind, I mean, if you're locked in a cage and you're not eating food, like, you're going to lose weight and your body will lose that fat, obviously. The issue is you're going to lose muscle. Like, you know what I mean? I could go on and on with these things, but they don't. They don't make it impossible. Ghrelin and leptin do not make this impossible. They make it incredibly difficult, though. And the mind, the psychology behind this is one of the biggest things that you're going to be going up against. GLP-1, all these peptides, these weight loss peptides that get people to lose weight, they're affecting these hormones. So they're not actually just like melting weight off. People are just less hungry, so they don't eat. You're not hungry, so you eat less, and then you just lose more weight. But the issue is, what did we just say? You're going to lose muscle. You could lift, you can do all these things to counteract that. I, however, just don't really believe in that, because I think you're using a Band-Aid fix when what you really need is an identity reset, and you need these higher level systems to continue to do this forever. You're not going to want to take those peptides forever. You're just not. You're not. Like I said, if we go to the sleep, these things that we control, the cortisol, like, this is going to make all the wonder, or all the difference for these two things. Like I said before, it comes down to, are we in starvation mode? Are we in abundance mode? Like I said, I think the starvation mode term is overused a lot, and it's not like truly real. What's happening is it's affecting those hormones: ghrelin, leptin, cortisol, right? So just understanding these things is super important. And when you understand ghrelin and leptin, it doesn't mean when you're hungry that you actually need fuel, because ghrelin is going to learn your schedule, whether you need food or not. So if you eat the same time every single day, it's going to want to be hungry, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a time where you eat. That's going to help you a lot as well, too. Another thing that we talk about, right? Like I said, with the GLP-1, these things, they have to do, it's very important with these hormones, and it's going to solve that hunger problem, like I said, but it's not going to do anything about the muscle. So protein, lifting are way more important, especially if you're using one of these things. So if you are someone who's is going down that path, like I said, at the end of the day, you need a bigger system. And even when you get out of that, you're going to want to build muscle, and metabolic priming is going to be that thing. It's going to be that thing. So one thing I wanted to we'll leave on this, along with those, really the takeaways, are you guys to go use the protein, the sleep, all that stuff, understanding these higher level concepts and how much these play into. The biggest thing I want you to think about when you get in these situations is this truly, does my body truly need fuel? How do you know that? It's a really good question. You track your food, and then you know, right? Okay, am I at my calories? Like, I know if I'm at what my coach, whatever I'm doing is telling me to hit, I'm dialed, I'm good to go. And sometimes it's just the ghrelin, and it's just these hormones, so you can understand it's a psychological game. But when that leptin goes down, your hunger is going to go up, your thyroid's going to go down. Your active T3 is what you need to burn the fat. So a lot of you guys, your thyroid is completely suppressed, and so that's why you look soft as shit, and you're not losing any fat, because your thyroid is all over the place, because your hormones are wrecked, because you've been cutting carbs, you've been doing starvation diets all over the place. What you need to do is eat more food. That's what you need to do. Your movement's going to go down. We've talked about this a million times. Your NEAT, which is going to burn more calories. Your cortisol is going to go up. Your stress is going to climb, which is going to be another thing that's on your body to not feel safe and not feel like it's ready to release this fat, to burn this fat. And your testosterone drive is going to drop. So this one thing is super, super important. We already went over all these myths. And like I said, that's going to be the biggest thing, guys, is these 7 controllables. And then when I come out to our metabolic priming here, this is huge, guys. 70% of how we burn calories is through our metabolism. So we need to get that going by eating more food. I've shown this graphic over and over again. You need to eat carbs. You need to prime before you get into a cut, because at the end of the day, we want to gain muscle. We want to build muscle. And then we want to shred down to something that there's something to shred doing to. I've worked with clients, you have no muscle. If we shred you down, there's nothing to shred down to. 15% body fat at these same 2 weights, it's just not, it's not going. If I go all the way out here to, here we go, our metabolic priming, just to give you a really, really good idea, is if you're cutting here on the left, you're going to mess up your ghrelin and leptin. And it's going to make you feel hungrier. And then it's going to, psychologically, it's going to be taxing. What are you going to do? You're going to eat in a surplus. Or what's going to happen is all those other things, like I said, when the leptin gets messed up, your testosterone, then you're stuck in this hole. And then if you keep trying to cut, you're digging yourself deeper and deeper. We're metabolic priming. We reset, we prime, we literally raise food before we cut. And then we get into, a maintenance or a reverse out that after that. These are the exact macros that I used for my pro day. And as you guys can see, we started just over like to around 200 carbs, blah, 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 blah. We get to 300, 400, 500, got up all the way to 570 carbs. How do we do that? Look at the strategic raising. We went from, 300 to 330 to 350 to boom, we jumped up quite a bit, but then we're up to 450. Then we're up to 500. See, it's a strategic raise over time. And you look at how long did we take getting out of this? We really took like about a month coming out of it and really priming that metabolism again. That's what you can do with carbohydrates, guys. And it's not just me. It's not just me that's getting shredded off of this. This is exactly what we did with Austin to get him shredded. As you guys can see, we're raising food here. As you guys can see, we're raising food. Look what's happening. He goes from, here we are, soft, just not feeling good about himself, to literally shredded, right? Here it's like, okay, wow, that's pretty good. Wow, that's pretty good. Whoa, the muscles are feeling full with the glycogen. We're raising the food. He's eating more food and looking more shredded, guys, up until like, oh my gosh, look at that. And he stayed that way since. If we look at his weight, his body weight, right? Boom, we were cutting. Oh man, he had a little bit of a dip. Okay, boom, we get here, and then we're raising food. We raised food before, a little bit of a weight spike, good, but now that allows us to get a crazy shred, raise the food, and then he's eating more food than he ever was, and he looks like this, and he's the lightest he was been since he was on the program. If we go to 195 to 195 down to 185, right? Incredible. So, and then just look at what happened from there, guys. We go all the way from 195 down to, he was down to like 169. That's what happens when you use metabolic priming, and that's what happens when you understand ghrelin and leptin and all these things. So if you are a high performer, someone that wants to take their body to the next level, that wants to get shredded, the most shredded they've ever been in their entire life, you want to learn a system, you want to be a part of a community of high performers, you want to be guided by somebody like myself who's done it, who's lived it, and has helped other people do it, then this is for you. This is for someone that's ready to invest in themselves, that's ready to go get real results, and wants to get in the best shape of their life and completely transform their identity and create whole new outcomes in their life that they've never had before. If that's you, go DM me on Instagram, Shred. We can have a conversation and see what it looks like, or you can just book in a call down below and we can get on a call and see if you're a good fit. I appreciate all you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Make it happen. Out.